sniffles right now?
We do both have sniffles. Yeah, we both have sniffles right now.
You know, if it's not someone woke up late and has like this weird seductive voice, if it's not someone lost their voice, and by someone it's me.
Well, and if it's not somebody's having technical issues, which is generally me, like...
There's always something.
Always something. I'm glad that Story Sirens... We do prevail. I'm glad that Story Sirens has its own set of, like, gremlins that just keep coming after us. Not to cause harm, but to cause some mischief and some setbacks. And
I love that it's always gremlins. We always go back to gremlins.
We always go back to gremlins.
It was such an integral part of our life.
It really was. It really was.
But we're okay. We're okay. And with that, welcome to Story Sirens.
Welcome.
The podcast where we talk about our favorite myths and legends from movies, books, and worldwide folklore. I'm Yenny.
And I'm Sarah.
And today, please turn to page 394.
Yep. We're talking about werewolves today. Lycanthropes, Loup-Garous, wolfmen. Oh my!
Ah woo! Oh my god, that sounds like very close to ooh woo.
Wrong werewolf.
We are not ooh wooing here. We're not ooh wooing.
Well, you know, with that respectful sound in mind, Yenny, I have a question for you. Did you know that werewolves were part of the target demographic during the witch hunts?
No. What now?
Yes. And did you know that the legends of werewolves date back to 1800 BC and may even be older than that?
Oh, I can tell this is going to be a lengthy episode. Hold on to your chew toys, listeners.
Oh.
You know, I wrote that and, you know, I write these things and I'm like, afterwards I'm like, a chew toy, but it's supposed to be a joke. So everybody just laugh, okay?
Just laugh. Just laugh.
It's funny. Anywho.
So another fun fact, we commonly believe that it's the full moon that turns a human into a werewolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that myth didn't come into being until 1943. That myth's not even 100 years old yet. That transformation was shown in the film Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and pop culture just ran with it. Now, I will correct. While there are some European myths stating that choosing to sleep outside under the full moon would turn someone into a werewolf, the specific trope of the werewolf having no choice but to transform whenever there is a full moon seems to come from the 1943 film.
Would you look at that? Parts of Italy, France, and Germany actually have folklore tales of people being able to turn into a werewolf if they slept outside during the summer under a full moon. And oddly enough, apparently it would either be specifically on a Wednesday or Friday. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so don't do anything on hump day or like Friday. That's it. You're done.
It's a whole new TGIF.
Yeah, that's it. I wish I was making this up, but you know, like apparently people really had to mark their calendar if they wanted to become a werewolf. Like this is a real thing. And mind you, this came from Wikipedia, and I cannot find any other place where this is said. So take this with a not grain of salt, but a tablespoon of salt. I mean,
I love it.
I feel like it could be true. The silliest thing about a lot of myths and legends is that they're so precise. Like sometimes they get so precise. Yeah, that you're just like, someone made this up. This can't be
Absolutely.
Real. Yeah.
But, you know, now I want to ask Jared if he wants to go camping on like a Friday night.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Sarah, here you go again. I said I wasn't going to bring up any sexy jokes. And look, you just make them for me.
I make it so easy. So anyway. So the word werewolf comes from the Old English were, meaning man, and wolf, meaning wolf. Naturally. The term became popular around the 15th century. Werewolf and lycanthrope legends can be found across Europe, featuring the werewolves as the villains of the story. Throughout Asia, North America, and the Caribbean, werewolves vary in villainy, some seen as guardian spirits, some being humans who have reached a higher level of spiritual enlightenment, and some being cannibalistic monsters.
And some can be in love with you, but not really, because they're actually in love with your womb and end up imprinting on your child. But I digress. Let's keep going.
We went there.
You knew that this
I
whole
knew.
episode I was going to mention this. And, just keeping Jacob Black aside, there's quite a bit of argument as to where exactly the term werewolf came to life. While Sarah will be speaking about tales of werewolves coming from Greek texts in a few, I did also want to mention a section of the Epic of Gilgamesh. For those who aren't aware of what the Epic of Gilgamesh is, it's an ancient Mesopotamian text detailing the story and life of Gilgamesh, king of Mesopotamia. It's actually one of the oldest works of literature.
It's really, really cool. It's very short. It's a fun read. So says the resident nerd.
So you actually did read it? I didn't know.
Yeah, I've read it. I'll send you a picture. Like, the book is like this thick. It is not a thick book at all. And fun might be the wrong word, but it's an adventure. It's an adventure.
And to keep going with what you're saying, it said that the Epic of Gilgamesh is actually incomplete because only 12 tablets were found. Yeah.
Yeah, so the tablets we have currently translated are the ones in mass production and everything, but I mean, it is something that scholars are still working on.
Right, and all of this is written in the Akkadian language, which is the language of Mesopotamians. Some of the gaps in the tablet have been filled thanks to more excavations and findings, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Because we can talk about this forever. Yeah, I know you're excited about it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, you're super. Now, back to werewolves, and no, not the hot ones from Forks.
Gag.
Whatever. In a portion of the surviving text, there's mentions of a woman who
Ishtar, goddess of war and sexual love.
Here we go with the sex. It wasn't me. It wasn't.
It was the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Thank you. Exactly. Who turned a man into a wolf. I'd like to mention this man was a previous lover, and well, if you act like a dog, then I think it's fair to be turned into one. Okay?
Again, this falls under the genre of good for her.
Good for her. But this is where the argument starts. Does turning someone into a wolf make them a werewolf? Scholars seem to fight about this, most of which stick to their guns and say that the earliest talks of werewolves come from the Greeks. Either way, I'm still Team Jacob.
So with the mention of the Greek historian Herodotus, who lived from 484 BC to 425 BC, wrote of the Nuri, a Baltic tribe whose entire people turned into wolves for a handful of days once a year. After the days had passed, they would return to their human forms. Herodotus heard about this tribe from the people of Scythia, and while the historian was skeptical, the Scythians were convinced that it was true.
I mean, I'd be skeptical too. Oh, okay. So the days I come to see you are conveniently the days that you don't turn into a werewolf? Like, come on. Like, that is, and this is the part where I'm talking about, like, it's so specific. And of course, like, the myths and legends never happen when you're around. It's only, on Wednesdays and Fridays, guys. Wednesdays and Fridays. That's it.
I'm sorry that, book club is on a Tuesday. You're just not going to see it. So, still remaining in Greece, there is a more famous werewolf in Grecian histories, King Lycaon of Arcadia. In the legend, King Lycaon questioned whether Zeus was truly all-knowing and worthy of human worship. So, King Lycaon took his son Nyctimus, the youngest of his 50 children, and then...
That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. But he took his youngest son, killed him, cooked him, and served him in a stew to Zeus. The god of thunder recognized the trick, hurled the table of food at the servants, and turned King Lycaon into a wolf. In some versions of the story, Zeus then kills the king's 49 other sons, as they were just as wicked as their father, and restores Nyctimus to life. In others, All the sons are present at the feast for Zeus, and they take part in eating their brother. So Zeus turns the father and the sons all into wolves, and they are driven out of the city.
Cannibalism isn't good, guys.
Yeah, no.
Just saying that. Anywho, piggybacking on the version of which Zeus does not kill Lycaon's 49 other sons, this story takes us to Italy, particularly in a region called Puglia. One of Lycaon's sons, Peucetius, was the first Greek to sail and settle in Italy. The werewolves of Puglia were known as demons to the people living there. And lucky for us girlies, werewolves were only men.
So wait, did Peucetius bring the werewolves with him? Like, was that part of his curse?
It seems like it.
Okay.
It seems it's a little bit muddy.
Okay.
I didn't really go too much into it, but with him came the whole story of werewolves in Puglia.
Okay,
We're going to get into that a little bit later because he even has a tower in Italy.
Ooh.
So I'll get to that in a little bit. You're going ahead of
I'm
it,
sorry.
girl.
I got excited.
Let me tell the story. All right. So this story was so revered and believed by the people that it lasted for centuries. In later days, specifically AD, if a boy was born on the night of 24th of December, boom. The baby is a demon child, bound to be a werewolf because he was born on the same day Christ was. Yeah, You heard me. Middle Ages, huh? Fascinating.
Strange times.
Fascinating. Strange times. Everything was, this goes back, which I know we're going to go into later on, but Salem witch hunts and everything really has to do with fear and religion kind of getting together with that.
In very bad
we'll
ways.
Go more into it.
Yeah.
In very, very bad ways. So anywho, let's kind of go around how can you save your child from being a werewolf?
Ooh, let's find out.
Yeah, I found this. I was like, this is pretty interesting. So anywho, to save your werewolf, not to save your werewolf, that's an anime. So to save your child from being a werewolf.
In Italy.
You had a few options. In Italy, you had a few options. Help me out, Sarah.
1. Have the father of the child stand on their rooftop at midnight and shout, "A child of magic was born in my house."
Oh!
This would make the curse manifest itself and thus break.
2. Have the baby's father cross the child's feet with burning embers to cleanse their soul.
Getting some Achilles vibes here. 3.
Yes.
Place the magical baby into a burning oven for only a few seconds to let the light and fire restore the soul's purity.
I know we're laughing, but it's just because it's so bogus.
This is weird.
And imagine how many, this is written. So it's definitely, this definitely happened.
Golly.
Can you imagine? Can you, first of all, the baby's gonna have scars of this for the rest of their life. Hey, Timmy, how'd you get that? Oh yeah, I was in a burning oven because I was born.
I was born a werewolf.
Baby.
I was born a werewolf.
Yeah, I was born a werewolf.
Golly.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it was not cool to be a Christmas miracle in Puglia. I'll say that much. But I did find a little bit more, and as Sarah was trying to get me to say it, but now I'm going to say it. You can also find more about Peucetius in the region of Puglia through architecture, specifically the Torre del Lupomino in the city of Bari, found in the commune of Bitonto. This 17th century building is said to be the home of Peucetius.
Cool.
Many elders in the area still tell stories about hearing the howls of werewolves every month on the full moon.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so we could guess that Peucetius transformed others into werewolves.
Yeah.
As Sarah will talk a little bit later about how some people even said that they drank potions to make them into werewolves. So this is Greek mythology at its finest, where you kind of are left with loopholes. You're like, oh, what's happening here? How did this happen? So I think it's the same commonality going on here, where it's just written somewhere, and it's a part of the myth.
It's there. It's part of the myth. Who knows? But I do love the fact that we have haunted architecture for Peucetius. So
yes.
That's way cool.
Yes.
I'm a sucker for haunted house stories. So brilliant.
Oh my gosh. Actually, Sarah, you know what would be super cool?
What?
If one day we could do hold on, my rickety chair is
I
noises.
sent you a link to a new chair, right?
I know. You did. But Then I went to Hobby Lobby and there was like a clock that was like 75% off. And I'm like, chair or brand new clock for the wall. And I chose the
You
clock.
sent me a picture of it. It's a very cute clock. It's very nice.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Anywho, like I was saying, I hope that one day, you know, if Story Sirens gets big enough, we can like travel together to like these parts where all these myths and legends are.
I'd love that so much.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe they can put us on TV too. Oh my God.
The Story Sirens ghost tour.
Actually, Alex will not let us do a ghost tour.
I was going to say, I don't think I can do a ghost tour. And I know that Alex would definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
He would say no. Mm-hmm. But we could go to just the architecture, like the Tower of Pelcharias isn't bad.
No, it's fine.
It's just a tower.
We'll see it during daylight hours.
We could also just not tell Alex that we're going there. We're like, hey, baby, we're going to Italy.
We're going to Italy.
Jared.
Yeah. You two keep each other company, and Yenny and I are just going to go run off. Oh my gosh. Well, here. All right. So that was enough of a rant, and now Yenny and I have things to calculate for the future. But
yes, we do.
Let's move away from Greece for a little bit. So, going to Iceland, there is the Volsung saga, which is a 13th century epic about the rise and fall of the Volsung clan of Iceland. And in it, we meet a father and son duo who find magical wolf pelts. When the two put the wolf pelts on, they change into wolves for multiple days. The animal nature takes over in the story, and they go on a killing spree.
Aw, they're bonding.
Right? So finally, the father, still in his wolf form, attacked his son, also still in his wolf form, and he wounded him lethally. Some magic occurs in the story and the son is saved, but wolves and shapeshifting are used as cautionary motifs throughout the saga.
Well, the bonding time ended, I see.
Right?
They bonded only for a little while. Too soon.
So another trope we're all really familiar with, werewolves, would be the fact that they can be harmed or killed with silver. And we often, see comics and stuff about silver bullets with werewolves. So that trope comes from real events that occurred in France in the 1760s. The French province of Gévaudan was being terrorized by vicious wolf-dog hybrids that were eager to attack any person they came across. Men, women, and children were attacked and killed, and over 100 people in total were attacked. Oh. Survivors said that they saw giant red-black monsters with huge fangs and claws. Some historical reports state that there were multiple beasts. Others refer to a singular beast.
And it's really important to know how many people were witnesses and victims in this. I mean, can it all be myth? There has to be something happened. Maybe it was a cat with rabies, but something happened.
Well, and there are a lot of theories of what was actually going on. So, the town was under attack for 3 years.
Wow.
Right? Jean Chastel, the farmer who finally killed the beast, has become something of a legend in France. Now, the really cool version of the story goes that he melted down his silver crucifix, or another religious amulet, and turned the melted silver into bullets. He read his Bible, prayed, then took his guns and recently forged bullets into the forest to find the monster that had been plaguing his home.
Okay, Sarah, hold on. This has got to be the coolest religious guy ever. I mean, this man melted his crucifix into bullets and shot the beast with it. Like, that's insane. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, say hello to my little friend. Okay? Like, that's it. Oh my God. Which, really quick side note, just so you know, that is not how Cubans talk. Okay.
Oh, I know.
We love Al Pacino,
right?
But he is not. He is not Cuban. And we don't talk like. Well, sometimes we do. Okay, sometimes we do. Pero tú sabes, not like that. But I mean, we love him. We love him. He has the card, but in reality, he wasn't Cuban.
Everybody loves Al Pacino. Listen, he's got a card for everything. So
yeah, he does.
Oh, that was great. Okay. So, Chastel hunted the beast in the woods and finally shot it dead. Then he took the body, reported as huge by local eyewitnesses, to officials. The officials then ordered the body to be burned. No more animal attacks occurred after Chastel's hunt. There is a monument to Jean Chastel in La Bercerie Sainte-Marie in Gévaudan, which is now called Lozère. The 2001 movie, The Brotherhood of the Wolf, is based off of the events of this story, with, of course, some extra supernatural elements thrown into the mix.
I definitely have to watch that.
I do too. I haven't watched it yet either, but it popped up as hey, there's this movie about it. I was like, oh, I need to see this. So France has a surplus of werewolf history. During the 1500s specifically, so predating our events with the Beast of Gévaudan. But most of these werewolf incidences were associated with serial killers. These killers included Pierre Bourgat, Michel Verdun, and Gilles Garnier. All three of these men claimed to have magical potions that turned them into wolves, and all of them were child murderers. All three were burned at the stake, as during that time, burning was believed to be the best way to dispose of a werewolf.
Well, we might roll our eyes and say, yeah, okay, Pierre, a potion turned you into a wolf and made you kill a kid. That makes total sense. There's actually been studies on people who truly believe they are werewolves, which is
do tell.
Crazy. Yeah. So it's called clinical lycanthropy. Clinical lycanthropy is a real thing, apparently. And even though there's not too much research on it, it's been documented throughout the centuries. It is a syndrome, possibly caused by neuropsychiatric disorders, that causes some to believe they are turning into a wolf. Some who have this disorder have reported feeling like they're under demonic possession. A bit of like what we saw in Werewolves of Puglia, and how they believed to be under. Signs of clinical lycanthropy include claiming to see physical changes like your teeth lengthening and hair growing, craving raw meat, and having the need to walk on all fours are also some symptoms.
Should I be concerned if I like my steak rare?
Maybe. Well, you already told me that you're going to take Jared on a Friday night camping, so I don't know what's going on there.
I'm incriminating myself.
You are. I also want to point out that you did mention how in France there was a lot of werewolf things going on, and also in Italy too. We know about the Puglia werewolves, but it's funny how both of these, they are right next to each other. And it could be that when Paucerius came, the werewolf, the whole band of werewolves went past Italy into France. I mean, it all kind of is tying in, right? Italy and France are right next to each other, so it could be.
I love this. Well, I mean, and plus, I mean, we haven't even touched on like the myth of Romulus and Remus and the founding of Italy, and we're not going to touch in on that today. But again, we have more wolf imagery and iconography and just the way all of these myths and legends still kind of relate to each other. And so, since we are focusing on werewolf myths in Europe, we've covered Italy, we've covered France, and there must have been something in the air in Europe in the 1500s.
Yeah, there was something going on.
Definitely. It might have been tuberculosis, but, you know, we had other things.
Or clinical lycanthropy.
That is true. We do know there was plague going around at that point in time, too. So anyway, but the reason I say this is because in Bedburg, Germany, farmer Peter Stube, also known as Peter Stumpf or Stump, was accused of being a werewolf, a witch, a mass murderer, and a cannibal.
Well, damn, Pete, calm down.
Right?
Who got your knickers in a twist? What's going on?
So Peter claimed to have a magical belt given to him by the devil when he was a child that transformed Peter into a wolf during the night. As a wolf, he would kill and eat animals and people. He also admitted to having a succubus lover.
Okay, this is completely an anime story. Like,
Absolutely.
I know there's an anime out there. Also a porn. I'm sure of it. There is a porn for everything.
There is. There really is. So keep in mind that Peter admitted to the belt being given to him by the devil, having a belt at all, having a succubus lover, after he had been questioned and tortured by witch hunters. So, again, that tablespoon of salt is coming back.
Yeah.
The area was also suffering from the Black Plague, women going missing, livestock bodies being found mutilated in the fields, and Catholics and Protestants were at war with each other over the souls of the people of Bedburg and its surrounding cities.
A lot was going on.
Bedburg was a tense place to be. So, now back to Peter. He told his inquisitors that he had left his magical belt in a quote-unquote certain field. This is what was reported in the pamphlet that went around circulating what was going on. So he told his inquisitors that he had left this magical belt in a certain field, and people were sent to retrieve it. The belt, of course, was never found.
How convenient.
Yep. Peter suffered an absolutely horrific execution on October 31st, 1589.
On the day of Hallows Eve?
On the day of Hallows Eve.
This is definitely going to come out again on our Hallows Eve episode, because
it's coming up real fast.
That's so specific. October 31st. You couldn't have executed him any other day. That seems a little bit targeted for the religious, it's
a little on the nose.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys, hold up. Let's execute Pete on Halloween to remind everyone the devil. It's true.
So, it is true. So Peter was executed along with members of his family who were thought to be in league with him. Peter came to be known as the Werewolf of Bedburg, and his trial and execution was and still is one of the most infamous occurrences in witch hunting history.
Wow.
Now, to add insult to injury, quite literally, the name Stump most likely wasn't even his real name, but it's what he came to be remembered by because one of his hands was cut off.
Jesus, this guy just had it really difficult. His life was...
It was not good. So today, there are still ongoing debates regarding if Peter was an actual serial killer who happened to live during the era of witch and werewolf hunts, whether he was coerced into admitting to the killings by witch hunters, or if he was framed by town officials so they could seize his land and wealth. This theory came to be due to the presence of members of the aristocracy and the quote-unquote Archbishop and Elector of Cologne being present at Peter's execution, which was very uncommon at that time. So there's some political theories in this.
There's a lot of, and I think again it comes back to a lot of these myths and legends. Some of them feel a little political. Some of them you're like, you did this, you made this up for some reason.
Exactly.
And it just, mass hysteria and fear are a big proponent to a lot of these myths and legends. How much can you scare and how much the human minds can make up these things? And it could have been, he might have been a serial killer. That might have been true. But then there was, the game of the whispering in the ear that just gets more and more crazy.
Exactly.
And, it's just, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. There's a, if y'all want to continue looking up stuff about the werewolf of Bedburg, it is a fascinating read. And we did omit a lot of details both for time and for tastefulness. So
yes.
Anyway,
tastefulness because he's a cannibal, or tastefulness
because of some of the more gruesome details of his trial and execution.
I wonder if he used salt and pepper.
Good grief. He was rich, so he would have had access to both. So anyway, we've discussed the possible political and religious intrigue involved with Peter Stump. Well, in French Canada, they have the Loup-Garous, which ties in because it's a Catholic-based myth where a cursed man turns into a wolf at night. The curse lasts for varying lengths of days. Usually it's about 100 days or more. And the curse can only be removed by the one who placed it, often God or a priest, or by someone who knew the person and is able to draw blood from them while they are in their wolf form. These specific werewolves generally wandered the countryside at night, and they tended to be less violent than their European and American counterparts.
The Loup-Garous is also believed to be a person who can transform into any type of animal, though a dog is the most common. French-Canadian folklore states that they can turn into a small ox, an owl, a cat, and even a pig. So maybe Pigsy from the Monkey King story was a Loup-Garou?
But could Pigsy change back into a man? I think he would have utilized that.
Oh, that's right. Well, maybe he's related to Peter, because he also ate. He was also a cannibal. So.
He was a cannibal too. So, there are often common attributes to werewolves throughout mythology across the world. They often possess super strength, endurance, and durability, making them difficult to kill. If they are injured in their wolf form, they will carry that injury into their human form. Similarly, during the witch hunts, people suspected of being werewolves would often be cut on the arm and leg, as it was believed that there would be fur underneath their skin.
You see, and then here, I'm like, hearing these things makes my head hurt so much because did they ever see hair? I mean, come on. I bet they just like plucked a cat's hair from like anywhere and just like stuffed it in there and we're like, well, witch. There you go. And they would just murder someone that day. I mean,
it was gruesome.
I mean, you gotta make the witch and werewolf quota at that point. The monthly. How do you think you're gonna have to get paid? We got numbers. That's why it lasted for so long. Half of these things were just ridiculous lies. These poor people.
And also, that's a really wealthy werewolf. Let's get rid of him. We get his property and his wealth. I mean, just
Yeah.
It was awful.
See, grab the cat, the neighborhood cat, just rip off a piece of his hair, boom, put that in there.
That poor cat.
Fuck the cat. Oh my God. Forget the cat. What about the person?
I'm saying greed has a plethora of victims, okay?
Oh, yes.
So in specifically English folklore, it was believed that werewolves would often carry some of their wolfish traits into their human form. A hairy unibrow, which that just seems rude, low-set ears, long claw-like fingernails, and I didn't write this down, but they also said if they had a shuffling or swinging step, which I'm just like, yes. So after Farmer John rolls over his foot with his cart and starts limping, you're just like, werewolf.
That's it. I mean, the Norse people had a little bit of a different take on a werewolf, and I wanted to bring them up. In fact, they called these man-wolf. They believed that if a warrior wanted to be more ferocious in battle, they should wear a pelt or a belt made of wolfskin, which would then call the spirit of the wolf into the warrior, which I think this also ties into indigenous tribes as well, because they also use the spirit of the wolf.
Yes, the pelt is imbued with the spirit often. And some scholars think that this wolfman or man-wolf, the Norse people observed that you just talked about, Yenny, a lot of scholars think that this is a variation of the berserker, where they would wear bear skins imbued with the spirit of the bear. So, generally speaking, becoming a werewolf by being bitten by another werewolf is a more modern idea. Older werewolf legends did not depend upon the contagion of the werewolf curse.
Or so we think.
So we think.
Yeah, because of Pochetius.
Yes, but generally, werewolfism or lycanthropy was bestowed by a potion, a magical garment, a curse, as with our Italian friend, and often, curses of the gods.
Oh, not the gods. All right. So werewolves nowadays are cool, and they're mostly chads, or they're from like an indigenous background that are shirtless for 5 movies straight.
Or they're sexy and English and fighting sexy English vampires.
Oh, yeah.
Underworld, anybody?
Oh.
It only makes sense that today, werewolves are the main focus of romance books, horror movies, teen sitcoms. Teen Wolf, anyone?
Oh my God, I was literally obsessed with Tyler Posey. If it wasn't for the fact that I found Alex, I would have still been in love with Tyler Posey. I don't know though, his mustache is not, I don't know. He has some pictures with a mustache and I'm like, But I did want to mention how funny it is that nowadays what was mainly horrific and terrifying and demonic now is sexy. And oh yes, come with me in that wolf form. Ah woo, baby.
All those lines in those books of he growled, and we're all just like, oh, swoon.
I mean, if Alex growls at me, I might smack him in the face. I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Right? Yeah. Right.
Like, and now, like, he snarled. Like, what does that sound like?
You and I are just over here going, get that attitude away from me.
Excuse me, please go away. Think about what you're doing, okay?
Still discussing sort of our modern werewolves. Werewolves are a key part of Universal Studios' monster universe, and you can meet the Wolfman along with Dracula, Swamp Thing, and the Frankenstein couple in Orlando's Universal Park. And of course, they're part of too many book franchises to count, such as the Harry Potter franchise, RIP, Remus Lupin, Twilight, the Sarah J. Maas universe. They're part of comedy television series like Wolf Like Me on Amazon Prime. And of course, werewolves are the stars of countless films.
Where in Sarah J. Maas is there a werewolf?
In the Crescent City series.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, got it. So, siren call for today. It's spooky season.
Yes.
And you know, from all this werewolf talk, I'll be asking you to watch New Moon to Sarah's disappointment. Now, I can't condone sloppy drunkenness, but tipsy giggling is fun. So take a sip of wine every time Jacob and his wolf bros are shirtless. You're not going to be able to drive, I'm certain.
Ooh, yeah, do this at home.
Yeah.
And if you are like me and are indifferent to Jacob Black.
Ugh, whatever.
Hush. Go enjoy the fun and fearsome 1981 film, An American Werewolf in London. I watch this every October. It's perfect for spooky season. It'll leave you howling. Though I do admit, Twilight, the drinking game, does sound fun, Yinny. Please drink responsibly, listeners.
I'm telling you, this is a date night in the midst of happening. Like this,
yes.
You just need to watch. Jared and Alex will go to a different room. I mean, whatever.
Yes.
Forget that. I might even have to invite our friends Charlene and Onyx because I actually started doing a Twilight thing with Charlene.
I love
shout
it.
out to her. She's been today she was with me. She's been awesome to us. She listened to a few of our episodes and she's given us like an email of
she gave us a thorough breakdown of like, here's what y'all are doing really well, here's what you can improve on.
Yes.
Like, thank you, editor Charlene.
Editor Charlene, we love her. But yeah, we definitely have to do a date night with Twilight and just laugh.
I love it.
It's that bad. I mean, they get better. They get better as they go.
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe. You just watch it for the funnies and the hot guys.
It's a vibe.
Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Before it was all about Jacob. Now at 31, give me a piece of that cop daddy. Let's go. I got it. And his mustache, I approve.
Yeah, he does have the right mustache. So, anyway.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, anyway, if you want more werewolf gruesomeness and potential sexiness, here are some other few films to check out. First one being The Wolfman in 1941, starring Claude Rains.
Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman from 1943, starring Lon Chaney Jr., which we mentioned earlier in this podcast.
Yes. Teen Wolf from 1985, starring Michael J. Foxy Fox.
Brotherhood of the Wolf, 2001, starring Samuel Le Bahan. If I mispronounced that, which I know I did, I'm so sorry. Based off of the events of Gévaudan, which we discussed earlier.
Yes, and the Underworld franchise from 2009 and onward, starring Kate Beckinsale. Yes.
I recently found this movie. I have added it to my watch list because I haven't watched it yet, but The Werewolf Boy from 2012, starring Sung Joong Ki.
Oh.
It looks like a werewolf romance, which I'm just like, oh, yes. Yes, we can do more.
Oh, okay. You see, this is what I mean. They were bound to do an anime or a K-drama or something. And, of course, Twilight.
my gosh.
You gotta buy the shirt from Target. I'm gonna ship you that shirt.
No.
You have to wear it. Whenever it gets to you, you have to wear it.
Yenny, I really have no room to complain because as a teenager, I loved the werewolf book Blood and Chocolate, which they turned into a film, which was just heinous. But, the book was really fun to read as a angsty 16-year-old. Yeah. I'm a little scared to go back and read it, but I really have no room to complain about Twilight. Also, I did just start a new werewolf book yesterday. Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. I'll be sure to report back to all of you.
Anyways, guys, our favorite listeners here, do you have a favorite werewolf legend?
Maybe a favorite werewolf book or movie or a TV show?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know either in the comments or on Discord. We'd love to hear what you guys have seen and read. And also, we must let you know. For now, I suggest you think twice about frolicking outside tonight.
'Tis a full moon, lovely listeners, so beware.
For there might be something lurking in the shadows.
And it's ready to bite.
Oh, that was so cheesy.
I love it.
We love it. We love it. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow me, Yenny, on Instagram at YennyAnn, and also Sarah on Instagram at Sarah Ruth Voice. Want to support us? Buy us a cup of coffee on Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. See you soon.